as everybody's aware, right in the middle of the city is 996 acres of contaminated property from the Whittaker-Bermite Corporation because they made bombs, fireworks, and all kinds of other different explosives up there from the 30s through 87. And now they have to clean it up. And they would like to develop the area. There's in the master plan, there's 4 major roads that go across the property, but nothing can be done until the property gets cleaned up. Whittaker Company's in charge of the cleanup. Their insurance companies are paying the price for it. They have to get all the permits and all this kind of stuff. It's been going on forever. I've been involved for approximately 3 years. 3 years ago, they told us it was going to take 3 to 5 years to be done. And they're about this far past where it was 3 years ago. So I asked Jose about that. Jose Diaz, he's the project manager for the State Department of Toxic Substance Control. He's the one that's in charge up there. And he came to our meeting, our CAG meeting, to answer, give us an update on what's going on. And then he was only going to stay half an hour. He was there for an hour and a half answering questions. But the questions were excellent, and everybody learned a lot of things that are going on up there. Right now, they're doing soil vapor extraction, taking volatile organic compounds, which are basically oily substances and things out of the soil. And they're taking, they put the soil under vacuum and pull some of that out. Like I say, there's 2 units up there. They're going to put 9 more. One of the big problems up there is when they disbanded Bermite, they took all the power off of the hills up there. There's no power. Edison took everything out of there. So now to run these vapor extraction units, the soil vapor extraction units, they need electricity. So now they're working with Edison to repower the whole area, run lines back there so that they can run these things. They stated that grading should start by the end of the year, where they start treating the dirt. And that area up there is divided into 7 operating units, and 6 of them are about the land. The 7th operating unit is for the deep soil and groundwater. So they've cleaned up operating unit 1, but it hasn't been certified yet, and they're going to use operating unit 1 for some of the soil that they're moving from these others to go through the process of cleanup, and then they're going to go put it back where it came from. But the grading should start by the end of the year. It's going to be on OU5, which OU5 is right behind the Metrolink station and just to the east of the Metrolink station, which is all the entrance area to Whittaker-Bermite. If you go, you see all the buildings right there, and if you go under the railroad tracks, and there's from the railroad tracks and then up through the first ridge, that's going to be the first grading area that they're going to start moving earth, and that's supposed to be done by the end of the year. Jose said that they're pushing Whittaker to hopefully, once they start doing the grading, it should go a lot faster because everything's taken so long. They've had to get permits. They've got permits for the groundwater and permits for this, permits for that. They've got to get it from all the different agencies and all this kind of stuff. So the permit process is almost done. He's pushing for this whole project to be done by 2016. Like I say, 3 years ago they said 3 to 5 years. Now it's 2013. Now they're saying another 3 years, and he's saying it's hopefully it'll be done in 3 years. Well, I'll keep our fingers crossed. We'll keep an eye on what's going on, and so anyway. So like I say, he answered questions for approximately an hour. We still have problems in drinking water out here in Santa Clarita. The perchlorate is still a contamination. They treat it so that it's taken out of the water, but then some VOCs have been showing up. Valencia Water Company had shut down 2 wells because of perchlorate contamination, and also VOCs are showing up. Now VOCs are starting to show up some in the Saugus wells, but not to a reportable level, and they're blending the water of 1 part treated water to 6 parts state water. And then it goes into the drinking water. So it's supposed to be blended and diluted so that you don't see any of this stuff, but it's there. So we're keeping an eye on that also. The California Department of Health is keeping an eye on the drinking water, and the CAG is well connected with the Department of Health. The inspectors have been keeping us apprised on what's going on with emails and things. So, but that's what's going on with the CAG. Hopefully they're going to start, in April they're going to have some explosions up on the mountain. I forgot to tell you about that. They've been doing for the past 47 weeks, I think they said, unexploded ordnance detections. They've been going around and finding mainly not full ordnances, but components of rockets and things they've found. And they're putting them all together, and they're going to bury them and put blankets over them, and then they're going to explode them. So
Rick,
they're.
Do you know when it will be? Because that might be the day to plant the flag.
Yeah, in April. In April, and they're supposed to let all the businesses and the residents that are within 1,500 feet, which is like Walmart, Sam's Club, that area, Center Point. There's not a lot of homes around close enough. Circle J is. Everybody's going to be, they're going to let the public know when that's supposed to happen. That's coming up real soon. But as soon as they get that done, then they're working on the soil vapor extraction, and then they're going to start grading it by the end of the year. But that's what's reported so far about the Whittaker-Bermite property. Anybody have any other questions?
I do, Rick, and a serious one. You made a comment about some possible contaminations that they found in wells.
Yes.
Did they give you any follow-up on what they've done to correct it, so that when they tell you that this is an issue that they found it's a problem, did they then follow up either at another meeting or at that meeting and say what they've done to correct it or what they plan to do to correct it, so that we're not worried about what we're drinking? Or
Well, so far there's the mitigation. They're mitigating the problem over by where Lowe's is on Bouquet Canyon. There, all the water goes through those vessels over there that pulls out the perchlorate. So the water that comes out of the treatment is non-detect for perchlorate. They aren't treating for VOCs right now, and some VOCs are carcinogenic. But like I say, there's not enough VOCs coming through yet that they're saying that they have to report or anything else, but there are some that are being detected. And then they do blend the water afterwards, and so I've had several people tell me that the phrase is the solution to pollution is dilution. And so that's what they're doing right now. And the two Valencia wells, they've shut down and they haven't restarted them yet. They did do a test well because they still do not know how far the plume of perchlorate has gone from the Bermite property. The two Valencia wells, my guess is they're almost 1.5 to 2 miles from the property, and that plume of perchlorate's moved that far. But there's the Army Corps of Engineers drilled a test well there on Auto Center Drive by Mimi's, and they went down 1,800 feet testing, but I haven't heard the results of the tests on there yet. So they're still looking to see where the plume's gone, but they've shut down the two wells, the one right near City Hall, and then it's called Valencia 205, and I'm not exactly sure where that one's at.
All right, but they are dealing with it. And
they're dealing with it, but they're dealing with the perchlorate for sure. They haven't done the VOCs, and some people on the CAG are very bulldog about the VOCs, and they're real thorn in CLWA's side about that still.
All right, but the fact remains that they are dealing with it.
Yes, they are dealing with it.
Thank you.
Any other?
Yes, Rick, I just think maybe it's important to add that not all of the site is contaminated, because I think there's a lot of confusion about that. There's a great deal of that property that is not contaminated at all. And there's one area, and you probably remember the MOU, that is very nearly clean at this point. That was mentioned at the multi-jurisdictional task force meeting, which is right before the CAG meeting. And one of the reasons that they're pushing so hard to get this done is because Whittaker's insurance runs out, I believe it's in 2016.
2019.
2019. So I think it's important for people to know that there are some areas that are almost clean, some that may never be completely clean to where they can be used for their, best use.
Right, but
and may be forever restricted is what I was going to say.
Oh yeah, for sure. Burn Valley will never be anything but either open space or a soccer field. There is an injunction, legal issues that they can't develop any of the property until it's all cleaned up, no matter how clean some of it is. DS-12.
Yeah, I think that we should be aware that it's a little bit curious about the wells that are being shut down. That well near Lowe's is called Q2, and from the time it was found contaminated till it had filtering on it already was like 90 days because they wanted that well. There's certain happenings going on in this valley that they will choose to shut down some wells and replace them with new wells. Only the replacements are over near Newhall Ranch for groundwater. So there's no reason to shut down any well, because they can all be treated at the well site. So when you see these being shut down or saying we still haven't shut down so far, it's possible that they will never be activated, and they'll drill new wells at the cost of Bermite and maybe the rest of us to supply water over for Newhall Ranch, because Newhall Ranch is not allowed to use state water.
Right. Well, I know the readings off of the Valencia wells have just been increasing. Every time they do test it, the perchlorate's increased. And so they're still shut down. Whether it's going to Newhall Ranch or whatever, I'm not in that side of it. I'm trying to stay out of that part of it. I just wanted to see them get Bermite cleaned up, and the water's definitely a concern. We all need the water, and just as long as they keep the water clean too. The water cleaning this groundwater in the process is well over a 40-year process. They're going to be working on that for way over 40 years. But the land they're shooting for 2016. Whittaker's, like Berta said, Whittaker's insurance runs out in 2019, and Whittaker's still on the line to pay for it, but they've moved their company to England and everything else, so there's all kinds of different issues going on. But Whittaker's still stepping up to the plate with this. And like I say, the soil vapor extraction is increasing as soon as they get the power, and the grading is supposed to start by the end of the year. That's it, Al.
One last little thing about the Whittaker-Bermite area is, as you remember, we had Carl Goldman here talk about Habitat for Heroes and the project that they're building, which is just adjacent to the Whittaker-Bermite site. And so at the Planning Commission, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, the question came up as to whether that land was contaminated also. And the developer agreed to punch 6 test holes and test the area for contamination, and it was actually done by B.J. Atkins. And when I saw him up in Sacramento when I was there, and I asked him, and he said that they had punched the 6 holes in different areas around the border, and they came up clean. So that project will be going to the council.